What's up, family? What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to the third and final day of the Visionary Leader Challenge. Man, this has been an awesome, power-packed 3 days, and I hope you've gotten so much out of it. I hope it's been such a huge blessing to you that you just cannot wait to see what's in store on this, the third and final installment. All right, do me a favor real quick as we're here to get started. As always, jump in the chat box, jump in the comments. Let me know who you are, where you are. Tell me the name of your church. Let me know what your role is. You're the senior leader, whatever it is. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and click like and subscribe to this channel. If you're on Facebook or in one of our groups, go ahead and heart this and click share. Go ahead and share this because there's another leader that you know can really benefit from this training, from this coaching, and we want to be a blessing to as many people as possible. All right, so take a minute, go ahead and do that while you're coming in. I cannot wait. I'm telling you right now, what I have to share with you today for day 3 is just gonna be awesome, and so I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. I know you're gonna love it. I know you're gonna be blessed by it, and so I can't wait to get it to you. All right, so go ahead and do that. What I'm going to be doing is we've got a couple of more things that we're going to cover, a couple of things we're going to talk about. We're really going to be diving into the depths of what's going on and where we are. And so I want you to stay locked in with me today. It's the third day. It's the final day. So now it's time to put it all together. It's now to bring it all together and make sure that we do it. All right. I want to start by saying this, man. I'm so excited and grateful to have you as a part of this challenge. To this point, man, this has been one of the largest challenges we have ever done. More of you have attended live than any other challenge we've ever done in the past. And so I'm just super grateful. And I think that speaks to you, to the community that we've built, to the tribe that we've really developed. But it also speaks to the level and the magnitude of our content. I believe our content and what we've been sharing has just been so valuable, and I want to continue to do that and want to continue to be valuable. All right, so jump in the chat box. Let me know who you are, where you're from, the name of your church. Go ahead, share this with somebody else who you know needs it. You can grab this link on YouTube and you can text it to 5 people who are in your contacts and let them know, hey, you need to come and grab this because I know today on day 3, it's going to be absolute fire. All right. So I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to diving into this with you. And I want to jump on in, right? I want to jump on in and I want to get started and I want to go ahead and set the tone. All right. So here's what we're doing today. In the next 60 minutes, you're going to learn how to access every resource you need to make 2024 your best year ever. That's right. You heard me. Every resource. Every resource. That's right. Every resource. All right. Every resource possible. Right. I'm going to show you how you can have, and you already have access to everything you need. Right. I'm going to hook you up today. That's what this next 1 hour is going to be all about. Is about making sure you have the resources you need. All right, I see we got Louisiana in the house. I see we got Los Angeles in the house. We got Brooklyn in the house. Oh, I love it. I love it. All right, so listen, I'm going to show you everything you need. I'm going to give you everything you need to make sure that you can make 2024 your best year ever. That's what this is going to be. This is about to be your best year and your biggest year, right? So as always, here's what I need you to do. Put away your distractions. Close out the other windows, put your phone to the side, put it on do not disturb. Let everybody around you know, hey, look, I'm chilling. If you're on your lunch break, tell them, hey, look, I'm on my lunch break. I got my headphones in. I'm on a call. Go ahead and let everybody know so that you can be locked in and you can be focused for the next 60 minutes. Because in these next 60 minutes, I'm going to show you how to pull it all together. Over these last 3 days, we've given you so much value. We've talked to you about discovering your advantage. We've talked to you about really moving the needle forward and developing your strategy. We've talked to you about these things, and now we're getting ready to show you how to put it all together. And so I need you to lock in and I need you to really focus. All right. So let me give you one more thing. For those of you who don't know, my name is Henry. By now you should know who I am. If you're watching day 3 of the challenge, I hope you've watched days 1 and 2 already. And so if you don't know me though, I'm going to share with you every day. I've been sharing something new about me and about who I am. So here are 3 more things about me. Number 1, I love to grill and smoke meats, right? Like I call it smoke therapy. It's one of my things. I love to go out to the pit. I got a barrel grill, and I love to go out there and I love to cook and I love to do all those different things. I just have a great time with it. So it's one of my favorite things to do. So that's just a thing about me, man. Like, look, I tell y'all all the time, look, I'm a dude, right? I'm a guy. I'm a guy's guy, man's man. And that's one of the things I love to do. Another thing about me is that in the future, hopefully in the not too distant future, I want to launch a training center. All right. Think seminary if it was for all church volunteers, right? Think a seminary that trained not just pastors and preachers, but trained children's ministry leaders. It trained executive pastors. It trained ushers and greeters. It trained deacons. It trained elders. It trained even kingdom entrepreneurs. Think that, right? That's the big picture for us, is that I want to launch that kind of a training center where people from all across the kingdom can go to be trained in person and online. That's one of the things that I think is going to be super exciting about the future. So I'm looking forward to that. Last thing I want you to know about me is that I have committed my entire life to serving church leaders. So what I'm doing with you right now is not something that I just do on the side. This is my whole life. This is my full-time life and calling. This is how I can be the modern day Apostle Paul, how I can travel from city to city and state to state, building up the body of believers, building up the church. This is the vehicle that we use to do it. Our company, Simple Systems Consulting, and this is who we are, right? So those are a couple things about me, but enough about me. Let's jump into why you're here. Let's jump into why you came. And before we start talking about the new day, let's recap tomorrow. Recap yesterday. I'm sorry. Yesterday we talked a little bit about some strategic kinds of things, right? And we really talked about finance. We talked about resources. We talked about money. And so I gave you some homework. And so I want to hear from a couple of you on your homework, all right? And I'm going to just pinpoint one specific thing I want you to answer, all right? We talked about who is your target, who are the people that you're really going after in 2024. We talked about how much you need to hire the next person, right? If you don't know how much money you need to fill the role you need to fill, then you're kind of not on the right path to kind of get it done. You can't recognize it. So you need to know. We talked about that, but here's a question I want to talk about. How will you upgrade your technology in 2024? All right, real quick in the chat, if you were here for day 2 and you did the homework assignment, you wrote this down, I want you to just drop in the chat real quick the answer to this question. How will you upgrade your tech for 2024? Right? You might say, we're going to do online discipleship in 2024. You might say, we're going to upgrade our website in 2024. You might say, we're going to install virtual systems in 2024. Whatever it is, let me know in the chat. How are you going to upgrade your technology in 2024? All right, I'm going to give you a minute. Go ahead and drop that in. Go ahead and answer that question. This is a part of your homework. I told you, this is high accountability. I'm not here to just preach at you. I'm here to work with you. This is a workshop, right? That's what this challenge is. And so I'm working with you in this. We're working through this thing together. I'm here to support you. I'm your coach for these 3 days. So I need to know, what did you discover in your homework? How are you going to upgrade your technology in 2024? Let me know right now. How are you upgrading your technology? What are you doing? What are you putting out there? What are you shifting? What are you changing that's going to upgrade your technology? Because there's something that everybody can do. And so I need to know from you how you're going to upgrade your technology, right? And this is going to be a huge, huge piece of the puzzle because today, again, I'm going to show you how to pull all these things together, gather all the resources you need in order to move into 2024. All right. How are you going to do this? How are you going to upgrade your technology? And how are you going to move things to the forefront? All right. And I see some of you coming in, so I'm going to come back through and I'm going to jump in there as you continue to comment from different places, because I'm pulling all the comments in all these different places together. Right. But I'm going to be watching it, so I'm going to come back to that. All right. So check this out. Here's where I want to start. I like to come out of the gate with a strong statement that really sets the pace for where we're going today and what we're going to be covering. And here is the tough pill. Here is the red pill for today. Here's the red pill for today. All right, here's your red pill. Most church leaders struggle longer than they should because they don't get help. I want you to chew on that for a second. Most church leaders struggle longer than they should because they don't get help. I don't know why in certain circles of the church, we don't have a culture of sharing, meaning that we don't share our challenges. We don't always ask for help where we could and where we need to. And so as a result, we end up struggling much longer than we should. Right. I see upgrade the website. I see a couple of upgrading of the websites, upgrading some systems. I love that. I see it. All right. So you have a plan. You know where you're going, right? And here's one of the things. Most church leaders struggle longer than they should simply because they don't ask for help. Because they don't ask for help. All right. Don't ask for help. And that's so important. All right. Somebody said targeting current members and new members. Never had appropriate help, but won't give up. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So here's one of the reasons that so many leaders stay stuck longer than they should is because they don't get help. Sometimes we don't ask for help because it might be perceived in some spaces as a sign of weakness. Sometimes we don't ask for help is because we don't perceive the people around us as being a part of the solution. All right. But here's one of the things that we've got to grab is that everything you need could be within arm's reach. I just think that's the way God works. I think that when we have a need, he is faithful to meet it. But sometimes he meets it in ways that we don't understand, right? One of my favorite illustrations to give when I'm preaching is the illustration of a person, the lady who wanted a birthday cake for her birthday. She wanted a cake for her birthday. And she said, Lord, I don't need much. I'm just praying that you send me a cake for my birthday. Just let somebody think about me enough to give me a cake for my birthday. And she prays that prayer. And her birthday comes around, and leading up to her birthday, nobody said anything. So she's like, well, I prayed, I asked the Lord, we'll see, I don't know, whatever, we'll see how it goes. All right. So she prays that prayer. All right. And the day of her birthday, it comes around and she sees it. She gets a knock at the door. Right. And as she gets a knock at the door, one of her neighbors is like, hey girl, I went to the store and I picked up, for some reason, I got all this milk, and I know we ain't gonna drink it because the kids out of town this week. I got an extra gallon of milk. I just wanted to give it to you. She's like, oh, okay, girl, thank you, appreciate it. She takes the milk, she goes and puts it in the refrigerator. About an hour later, somebody else knocks on the door. Hey, girl, look, I know it's your birthday. I didn't have much, but I had a few extra things sitting around the house. I had some sugar and some vanilla, and I just wanted to give it to you and just, happy birthday. All right, cool. A couple of hours later, somebody else knocks on the door. Hey, man, look, the chickens laid some extra eggs, and I don't want them to go to waste. And so I thought, if you could use a couple dozen eggs, I brought them by, and here you go, right? And if you're paying attention, you know where this is going. Eventually, what ends up happening is that people in her life, no one brings her a cake, but everybody around her brings her an ingredient. And that's one of the things that often I believe happens in our lives as leaders is that we've got to learn how to get the ingredients from the places that God sends them. And here's what happens. When God gives us the ingredients, what do we have to do? We then have to put them all together and turn them into something that will become what we prayed for. And that's what we got to do. We got to make sure that we take what God gives us and we pull it all together. And if we pull it all together, then we can make it into what it needs to be. All right. I see somebody on Facebook. I can't see who you are, but one of our Facebook attendees said, people don't really help. And that's scary because leaders lie and go to heaven. I prefer not to waste time anymore. Here's the reality is that, there are some people who will say, hey, look, I want to help, and they don't. Right. And sometimes they don't because they can't. Sometimes they don't because their life is not organized to help. I really believe this. I believe that the average person's life is not organized well enough for them to be of great service to other people. Being of service to other people requires a high level of organization in your own personal life. So I think that's one thing. The second thing I would say this is that, and we're going to talk about this in a minute, you've got to be willing to look into some new places for help. You've got to be not just looking for help from the people you want it from, but from the help, you got to look for help from the people who are equipped to give it. And so that means a lot of different things, and I'll share some of that a little bit later. But we've got to make sure that we are searching for the help that we need. Because truth be told, the spaces that we're in right now, everybody's everybody's struggling. Well, I won't say everybody's struggling, but a lot of people are struggling, and a lot of people need help in a lot of different ways. I can't tell you how often I'm inboxed by people who want help, and in their minds, they think it's as simple as, "Hey, I just need help with this one quick thing, real quick. Give me this one quick thing I need, and I'll go on about my business." And they don't realize that there are hundreds of people who think they have one quick thing. It's like being a pastor of a church. It's one you, but you could have 100 people. And if all 100 of those people think that their one quick thing is something you can just knock out real quick, they don't always realize that your plate is loaded with people who have one quick thing. That's why Jethro came to Moses and said, "Moses, this strategy is going to work. You sitting in front of all these people he says, even if you do it from sun up to sundown, you'll never solve this problem because they will always have more problems than you have time to solve. It's not that you don't have the solution, but it's about a time issue. Can you have the time to solve it and do it, right? But we're going to talk more about that, right? But here's one of the things I want you to get to start. Most leaders struggle longer than they should because they don't get help, all right? Here's a question I want you to answer. And I love what Tareka says. She says, "I'm not a pastor, but I've applied this to my business." That's good. "I'm upgrading and revamping my website." I absolutely love that. I absolutely love that. All right. I want you to ask this question. Are you asking the right people for help? Are you asking the right people for help? Right? I told y'all yesterday I was going to be some toe stepping because I got to give you the unadulterated truth. And I'm going to do the same today. So I'm about to give you some hard truths that's going to really challenge some of the structures of your life to help you take the step forward. But I promise you, I'm doing it all in love, right? And so here's my encouragement to you. Don't waste another year failing in areas that somebody can teach you to succeed in. All right. Listen, I remember when I was a young pastor, and the model that I was really trying to follow was this model of finding the right covering, right? That was one of the things that really dominated my mind. If I find the right covering, that person will be able to give me everything I need, right? And if I find the right covering, if I do that, that will change everything. And I thought, like, man, I can get everything I need from this person, right? And at that particular time, I really wanted to be under the covering of this massive leader, and I won't call his name, but I really wanted to be on the covering of this massive leader, and so I joined this massive leaders network. I was a part of it. And I got some great resources. I met some great people. Some great relationships came out of that. But you know what didn't come out of that is a relationship with that leader. I never got a relationship with that leader. And so that was something, that was a season of life that was really an awesome mindset shift for me because it really taught me and helped me to see where my thinking was off as it related to how it's going to happen. And so eventually what I ended up doing is I realized, just like the lady who got all the ingredients, is that God was giving me what I needed from different places. Like there was one place I could get 5 things from. Another place I get one thing from. Another place I get one thing from. And eventually I started to discover that I had what I needed. But here was the mindset shift that I went through. I decided that I would not waste time failing in areas that there were people out there who could teach me to succeed in, right? So if I look at that from a kingdom business standpoint, that means I've had 4 coaches over the course of my business. My first coach, I was in a program that was $27 a month. And she taught me how to create digital resources, how to create ebooks, and how to create downloads, and how to create all these different things. That was my first membership. Like when I first started the business, when I had nothing, we hadn't sold anything, we hadn't done anything. We were just giving away free resources to people. And she showed me how to organize those resources into digital products and to do it, right? And that coach was $27 a month. My next coach, I paid, I think, $1,500, which to me at that time was like oh my goodness, right? It was a huge deal. But he was my personal coach for, I think, 3 months. I paid that for 3 months of coaching. And he helped me think clearly about what it was that I was really called to do and to explain what I had. Because I had a great product, but I didn't know how to explain it. I didn't know how I could really format it to help people. And he helped me do that. He helped me pull that together. That was my second coach. And then my third coach, he was more expensive. That third coach cost me about $15,000, right? And I went through a full massive training for a year, and he showed me how to organize online courses, right? He showed me how to do the technical stuff behind the scenes, how to run Facebook ads, how to do all those different things to get to the right places and the right people, and to really invest in my company and to build the company up so it can run itself, right? He taught me those kind of basic automations, those basic kind of things to help get rolling. And then I eventually went to another coach who was a little bit more expensive than that, who showed us how to then format our business even further and helped us even more with Facebook ads to tell us, okay, now you got a good product, how to get in front of people. Here's the point that I'm making, is that you need to understand that there are people in and around your life who have done what you're trying to do, but sometimes it won't come from the people you want. It comes from the people who are different, who are accessible. And that's one of the things you've got to be thinking about is accessibility, right? And so I'm going to help you understand what that means, right? And so I want you to imagine for a second what your life is going to be like once you have the support to accelerate your growth, right? I know sometimes we don't get the support we need, but what if you did have it? What if you did have the support you needed? I'm going to show you how to do it, but I want you to imagine, what does your life look like if you say, man, I got support to really be who I'm called to be in ministry. I have all the support I need. I have the coaching I need. I have all those different things I need. I'm going to show you how to get there, all right? And some of it is going to be found in stuff that you're already doing, all right? And here's what I want you to know. Everything you need is within your grasp, all right? Somebody do me a favor. Drop in the chat everything. If you're tracking with me, drop everything in the chat, all right? Everything you need is within your grasp. Everything you need is within your grasp. Listen, I'm telling you, this is coming from somebody. When I was a church planter, I had no money and I had no budget. I knew our church needed a website. I knew it needed to be nice. I knew it needed to be modern, but I could not afford to pay somebody to build it. And so you know what I did? Is that I stayed up all night on YouTube learning WordPress, and I bought a template for $37. And I took that $37 template and I watched the YouTube video. And I watched the help documents. I followed them step by step, and I figured out how to build a website because everything I need is within my grasp. YouTube is the largest educational platform in the world. There is nothing you need to learn how to do that somebody on YouTube won't teach you for absolutely free. And so just like yesterday, I'm going to tell you today, leave your excuses at the door. Leave your excuses at the door. Don't expect it to be easy, and don't expect it to be handed to you. Nobody owes you anything. Nobody owes you help. Nobody owes you freedom. But I'm telling you, if you pursue it, the help you need is out there. All right. I want you to get that. All right. The help you need is out there because everything you need is within your grasp. And so on day 3, here's what we're going to be talking about: how to make 2024 a big year. How to make 2024 a big year. I'm about to give you the tools. I'm about to give you the resource. I'm going to show you how to do it. All right. So 3 strategies to make 2024 a big year. Let's jump in. Number 1, first strategy, you need to find your tribe. You need to find your tribe, right? We're coming through an era where the church has largely been denominational in groupings. We have grouped together based on our denomination, right? And the whole thing about our denominations has been denominations typically gather around where we're alike, right? Where we're alike. They're denominationally gathered. And so what that means is, as long as we believe the same things, we're on the same page, right? But if we deviate in one of those, then our connection now comes under scrutiny, because we might not be the same, right? And so that's kind of been the model that the church has really lived under. But here is the hard truth. I told you I was going to say some hard stuff. Here's the hard truth: that everybody who believes what you believe doesn't think like you think. And that's a hard thing. And here's what I mean by that, is that we may agree on Jesus, we may agree on doctrine, we may agree on theology, we may agree on all those different things. But we might disagree and we might be different when it comes to how we execute ministry. And so what that means is we can still be in relationship, we can still be in covenant, we can still be in relationship, we can still be in all those different things. But the problem is that I can be in a denomination surrounded by other leaders, but feel alone and isolated because we don't think alike. Because we don't think alike. And I'm telling you, mess around and go into a group of leaders who are antiquated in their thinking, and see how lonely it feels to be sitting there and you're saying like, man, I really need to upgrade our technology. And they're sitting there looking at you like, I don't fool with that technology stuff. Mm-mm. You got to come in. You got to come in person, right? I tell you, it is one of the loneliest feelings you will ever feel, because you learn real quick that, man, we might be in the same denomination. We might believe the same things, but the way we think might be off, right? And so what you've got to do is you want to intentionally make sure that you're creating space for yourself to find your tribe. All right, somebody put that in the chat for me. Somebody say, find your tribe. Somebody put that in the chat for me. Find your tribe. You want to make sure that you're creating space to find your tribe, because finding your tribe is going to be so monumental for you. Finding your tribe is going to help you so greatly, because it's going to help you be surrounded by people who are like-minded. All right. Somebody put, I see you. Find your tribe. Find your tribe. All right. That's one of the things you got to do in 2024, is that you have got to make sure that you prioritize finding your tribe. You need people who can understand the unique way that God has wired you. And I'm not saying that you all have to be alike and you all have to be the same. I'm not saying that at all. I'm simply saying that you do need to prioritize being a part of a tribe that understands who you are and where you're headed. All right, here you go. Look at this. One of the things you need to do in 2024 is, I want to challenge you to join a community that can support who you are becoming and not just who you were in the past. My Lord, today. Look, somebody says we are twins. We the same. Listen, come on. I'm telling you. Like, we got to find that tribe. And here's what you need to find. You need to join a community that can support who you're becoming. Can I say a hard statement to some of you? Some of you are stuck in tribes that look like who you were and not like who you will be. You are stuck in tribes that look like who you were and not who you're going to be in the future. And so you need to rethink your tribe. And listen, I'm not telling you that you need to abandon your denomination. I'm not telling you that, because I believe now we're in a season where most denominations have come to understand the value of dual alignment. As a matter of fact, I was with a denominational leader, and one of the things that he says, no, we're all about dual alignment. He says, because we're aware of what we can and cannot provide right now. He says, I understand we can't do everything right now. So we're okay with pastors finding support in other ways, in other areas. That's why we're bringing partners to them who can do what we can't. Right? As a matter of fact, that's why our company is the official technology partner for the National Baptist Convention of America International Incorporated. Because he said, look, that's not something we do, but we would rather have a partner who does it so we can show it to our churches. And so at some point across 2024, we're going to help launch 500 new websites for churches within the National Baptist Convention, right? Because that's the partnership, right? And so I'm not telling you got to leave your denomination, but what I am saying is you need to identify a tribe, a community that can support who you're becoming. You need to identify it. Every time you get ready to have a conversation, you need to understand that you're in a community with somebody who understands where you're trying to go. They've been exposed. They've been aware. You need to understand that. All right. So let me dive down into this a little bit. So if you're looking for a tribe, if you're looking for fellowship, if you're looking for a denomination, a gathering, an alliance, whatever it is, what should you be looking for? There are a couple of things I want to encourage you to look for. All right. And this is me giving my wisdom to you, All right. And I see you, Pastor Jackie. You want to be one of those websites? Absolutely. Coming up here in just a second, I'm going to share the link, or you can see the website on screen. If you click that and go to work with us, you'll see Church Hub at the very top. That's our digital platform where you can build your website and do a ton of other things all right there in the same place. All right. So if you're looking for an alliance, here's a couple of things I want to encourage you to look for. All right. Number one is you need to be a part of a community that gives you access to resources. You know, I don't know what changed, but I remember when I was growing up in the denomination, we always had access to I could see the leaders having access to resources. You want to make sure that you're a part of a tribe that gives you access to resources, right? I think one of the unspoken promises of leaders is that I will help you do what you cannot do on your own. And I think the same should be true about your tribe. When you find a tribe, it should be a tribe where they can help you do what you cannot do on your own. They should be there to help you do what you can't do by yourself. That should be one of the marks of your tribe, is they can help you do what you cannot do by yourself. All right. And so you need to be intentional about looking for that. You need to be intentional about looking for that. All right. And I see you, Miss Bedford. She says that's connected to people who understand. Absolutely. You got to catch it. You got to be connected to people who get it. Right. And so you need to have access to resources. Another thing you need is you need to be a part of a tribe where you can have peer relationships, meaning that you can have at least some people, a pocket of people who think like you, who understand you, and who you can bounce things off of. Right. If it's hard to talk about, if you want to talk about your website, going to talk to somebody who doesn't even have one won't help you a whole lot. So you need peers, people who are where you are. Here's another thing you need when it comes to peers, is you need to be around people. You need, I think there are 3 different peers that you need. If you're a church, if you're a pastor, right? I want to talk to this about pastors. This is also applied to kingdom business leaders, nonprofit leaders, whatever. 3 people I think you need around you. I think one person you need around you is somebody who already is where you're trying to go. So from a church perspective, you need somebody who pastors a church that is twice your size. So if you got 100 people, you need somebody who got 200, 250, 300, because they can tell you what's coming. They can tell you what you're going to run into next. So you need somebody who is ahead of you, right? The second person that you need to have around you is somebody who is where you are. You need somebody who you can call on Sunday night and say, man, listen, we got 50 people, but today, man, only 25 showed up, man. It was rough today, man. You need somebody else who's at 50 and was like, bro, like, man, we had only 25 show up too. Like, man, what do you think they were? You need somebody who is where you are. You're a business owner. You're saying like, man, I'm really stuck trying to get some sales. I got everything set up, but I don't really know how to get to work. You need somebody who's right there, because they're going to help you navigate through it, and they're going to give you the accountability you need to keep going. They're going to encourage you by letting you know you're not in the fight by yourself. And the third one, which is surprising to most people, is you need a peer who is where you've already been. If you're a pastor, you need a peer who has a church smaller than yours to remind you of where you came from, but also to remind you of what ministry is really about. Right? Sometimes we can get to this point where we forget what it's like to be back there. And this is one of the ways that you kind of stay grounded, is by making sure that you've got those peers around. But you need peer relationships. You need people around you that you can genuinely be friends with, right? You got to move beyond just being in covenant with people you see once a year at a conference or at a convocation. And you need to surround yourself with some people who really get to know you, right? One of the favorite things that we do every year is our Kingdom Clarity Retreat. Man, the retreat this year, we did 2 weeks. We go to Destin, Florida. We live in a beach house together. So I'm literally living in the house with these other leaders. And we get to know each other different, because we sit around the table and eat breakfast every day. We sit around the table and eat lunch every day. We sit around the table and eat dinner together. We cook dinner together. We walk on the beach together. We sit in the room and do training together. We play cards together. We play Uno. We do these, so we're not just like, oh man, this is just ministry. Like, we're doing life together. And what that does is that allows us to be more forthcoming and be more honest with one another, because we understand, man, we're all committed and we all got skin in the game. And that's one of the things that's important. You need peer relationships where you can be honest. You need peer relationships where you can talk about what's happening in your marriage. You can talk about what's going on with your kids. You can talk about, where your finances are. You need peer relationships. If you're just in those superficial relationships with people that you don't really know, you won't talk about that stuff, because it's just not worth it. All right. Third thing you need to be looking for in your tribe is you need to be looking for healthy accountability. Healthy accountability. You need to have people around you who can help hold you accountable, who can say, hey man, where you at? I haven't seen you doing this lately. Hey man, what's up? I was on your Facebook page, man. Y'all not posting. What's going on? Bro, y'all just did that big old outreach and y'all didn't get no names and emails. Y'all didn't connect information from nobody. Like you need people around you who can provide healthy accountability. I think timeout is man, it's a hard thing, but I gotta say it because it is what it is. And I think it's what the Lord wants me to share with you. But the time is out for us to commit all of our energy to people who just lord their titles over us. And they don't even really know who we are or where we are or what's happening in our lives or in our ministries. You need to be a part of a tribe that can offer you healthy accountability, that they can come alongside you and really help you be better and help you go to the next level. All right. Last but not least, you need to be a part of a tribe where you can get some shared mission, where you all are moving in the same direction. And so you can make a difference together. You can be a part of making a difference in the world. So you're not bearing the weight of mission by yourself, right? But you can be a part of a group that even if you're just, hey, look, we're collecting water bottles for this disaster and we're going to send it together. That's shared mission, right? Hey, we're sending a couple of delegates over to Africa this summer. That's a part of mission, right? That's a part of shared mission. And you need to be a part of a tribe where you can do and have those things. All right. Real quick. Here's the final thing I want to say, and then we're going to go to point number 2. When you elevate your circle, you elevate your thinking. I'm going to say it again. When you elevate your circle, you elevate your thinking. Somebody drop elevate in the chat for me. Elevate. Somebody just put that one word, elevate, in the chat. When you elevate your circle, you elevate your thinking. One of the things that will really help you grow and help make 2024 your best year is you need to be in the room where you're not the biggest thinker. You need to be in the room with somebody who is constantly challenging how you think. And you're sitting there going like, man, I never thought about it like that. Man, that messed me up a little bit. Man, why hadn't I thought, man, we could do this. You need to be in the room with people who elevate your thinking. All right. That's one of the things that you've got to be prioritizing when it comes to your 2024. You need to be in a room with people who challenge you. You need to be in a room with people who make you think differently. You need to be in a room with people who will challenge you to come forward. All right. So you need to elevate your circle so you can elevate your thinking. All right. Real quick. What's your biggest takeaway from strategy number 1? Drop it in the chat real quick. What's your biggest takeaway from strategy number 1? We're talking about finding your tribe. What is your biggest takeaway from finding your tribe? Strategy number 1, finding your tribe. Healthy accountability is important. I see it already. All right. Drop your biggest takeaway. All right. I'm going to introduce point number 2, but I want you to go ahead and drop that in the chat. All right. What is your biggest takeaway from strategy number 1, finding your tribe? All right. This is super important. You've got to do this for 2024. Don't walk through 2024 by yourself. Right. I'm telling you, it's out there. Somebody said peer relationships. Love it. It's out there. The support you need, the help you need is out there. Everybody not bad. Right. I know you might have had some bad experiences. I know you might have been disappointed. I know some of you, like Mephibosheth, you've been dropped. But I'm telling you, there's other ones out there. There's other ones out there. All right. I can't believe this, but me and my wife went to lunch the other day, and Chick-fil-A messed up our order, y'all. Oh my Lord, today. We were sitting there looking like Chick-fil-A. Like we ended up waiting for almost 45 minutes because they thought they had prepared the meal. They didn't prepare. And we sitting there like, Chick-fil-A? Dang, that's crazy. Guess what? Number 1, I'm not giving up on Chick-fil-A because they messed up my order one time. That's the first thing. Second thing is I'm not giving up on food because Chick-fil-A messed up my order. Even if I was mad at Chick-fil-A, there are other restaurants out there. And here's what I'm telling you. You might have been a part of a tribe before. You might have had a circle of friends. You might have had all those different things and they fell apart for different reasons. Some of them might have fell apart because God needed them to fall apart and you just don't know what he saved you from. But my point is this, is that get up and do it again. Find the right one. Approach it differently this time. Go through a better vetting period this time, right? Whatever you got to do, find your tribe this year. When you elevate your circle, you elevate your thinking. All right. If you're the smallest person in the room, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Love it. Be in a room where you desire to be in. Absolutely. All of that. I see it. Find people who think like you. Vision. Yes. Yes, sir. Like vision. Make sure you understand the roles of the people in your tribe. All of that. Very, very important. All right. Let's go. Number 2. Strategy number 2 for how you're going to make 2024 a big year, you need to learn how to build without burning out. You need to learn how to build without burning out. I need you to get this. Building what God has called you to build does not require you to run yourself in the ground. You don't have to burn yourself out to build something significant, right? This is why when we talk about systems, our acronym for systems is a strategy that saves you stress, time, energy, and money. All right. It saves you all those different things. All right. And we talk about that because it's important. Ministry takes time, it takes energy, it takes money, and it comes with some stress. It just does. It comes with a healthy weight and a healthy pressure, right? And so you've got to be able to manage that. We can't always make it go away, but we can manage it. But what you've got to understand is you don't have to kill yourself to build a strong ministry. You don't have to wear yourself in the ground. It doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to be so hard. But here's the thing: most people won't choose their heart. You know, when I decided to become an entrepreneur, I chose my heart. I chose my heart. I knew it was going to cost me some time. I knew it was going to cost me a lot of time. But I knew if I invested time, it would make me some revenue so that we can build a company and continue to provide amazing resources. You got to choose your heart. And here's the mistake that I see so many leaders make, is that the reason so many leaders burn out is because the currency that they spend, that they're most willing to spend, is the time and energy currency. It's the time and energy currency. Is that you think that in order for you to build what you've got to build, the most convenient thing for you to spend is time and energy. Can I tell you, this is one of the things that I think secular, wealthy people have over the church, even when it's a kingdom principle, is that we don't have to spend time and energy to do all the things that God has called us to do. Some of them we need to learn how to spend relational equity, and we need to learn how to spend money so that we can keep our time and energy for the things that really matter. All right, I'm going to prove it to you in just a second. All right, but let me give you this. All right, I want to give you 2 ways I describe burnout. 2 ways I describe burnout. All right, one of the ways I describe burnout is when you run out of energy before you run out of mission. Burnout happens when you run out of energy before you run out of mission. One of my favorite scriptures, when Paul is writing to Timothy, one of the last things he would ever write, he says, my life has been poured out as an offering before the Lord. And he goes on to say, I have finished my course. And I love that, because really what Paul is saying is, he says, I am grateful that I finished what God has called me to do before I ran out of time. Because there are a lot of people who run out of time before they run out of course. My time, my life is how much time I got on this earth. My course is what God has called me to do with the time that I have on this earth. And Paul says, I completed my course before I completed my life. And that's a blessing. And that's what you want to be able to say. You want to be able to say, I finished my course before my life was finished. That's what you want to be able to say. And so, but burnout happens when you run out of the energy before you run out of mission. Here's another thing. Burnout happens when you use up too much energy too soon. You have got to learn. You have got to learn that using up all your energy and all your time is not the best solution to accomplish what God has called you to accomplish. Right? This is why strategy number 1 was all about what? Finding your tribe. Finding the people around you who can help you. And on day 1, we talked about discovering your advantage. And we talked about vision and strategy. Why do we talk about vision and strategy first? Because when you learn, can I tell you what's keeping you from attracting some of the help you need? You don't know how to clearly articulate what you need. And it is unfair for you to expect people to execute what you can't articulate. If you don't know how to put into words what God has called you to build, how can people make a good decision about whether or not they're called to be a part of it? If your mission statement is not clear, I don't even know what we're here to do. If your vision is not clear, I don't even know what I'm signing up to be a part of. If you don't have a new members class, so I can figure out what it means to be a part of this church. If you don't have a website where I can go and explore your church before I show up, so I can figure out what your service looks like and how y'all dress and how long y'all stay in church and what kind of preaching do y'all do? Do y'all shout from start to finish, or do y'all do like praise and worship? Like, if I can't figure all of that, you're not giving me enough information to decide to come and support you. And so as a result, you use up all your energy too soon. And so you end up spending so much energy launching the church that after the launch is over, you don't even know what to do next, because it takes you another 6 months to a year to recover. You go and you plan a big old Easter and you do Easter, and by the time you finish Easter, you so burned out because you did everything preparing for Easter that now you don't know what to do next. Now you checked out. You pour all your energy into it, and now all summer you're gonna preach mediocre sermons because you burned out for Easter, and now you got to recover again. And so what I'm saying to you is, you got to learn how to build without burning out. And a part of that is learning that I need to learn how to keep as much of my energy and my time as possible. And instead, I need to leverage relationships and money in order to do what I'm called to do. All right, that's what I got to learn to do. I got to learn to leverage those two things. All right, and I already hear some of you. Some of you are saying, like, look, it's just me. Like, I'm by myself. It's just, I'm the only one doing this. I'm the only one doing it. I'm so and so on. Well, here to you, I would say this: your first task is to get the right people around you. You got to be a wise master builder. So here's how you do it. All right. Number one, you need to use as many done for you resources as possible. If you're going to build without burning out, one of the things you need to do is drop your pride. Stop thinking that ministry and success is about everything being original. It's not, because there's nothing new under the sun, right? From a holistic standpoint, right? So one of the things that you've got to do is that you've got to learn to leverage done for you resources. What does that mean? That means you need to learn how to implement resources that people have already put together for you. Now, some people disagree with this, but I would say the same thing about sermons. I would rather you preach a well thought out, well organized, biblically sound sermon that somebody else wrote versus a thrown together Saturday night special that you only had time to put 2 hours into because the week was too full. I say leverage done for you resources. Leverage resources that have already been put together to help you do what you're called to do. And I'm not saying I'm not saying preach somebody else's sermon word for word. What I am saying is, if somebody is providing notes for you, if somebody is giving you sermons, if somebody is giving you notes, take that outline so that you don't have to start from zero. Start with that outline and then build it out according to what the Lord is doing in your local body, in your local church. Take those done for you resources. If there's something you're trying to do, you're trying to plan a big Easter, instead of having to start from zero and you got your team looking at you like what we're supposed to be doing and how it's supposed to go, find somebody who has already put together a detailed plan and say, look, I'm going to just follow their blueprint and go with it. You got to learn how to leverage done for you resources. If you learn how to leverage done for you resources, you can save your time and energy. You can save your time and energy by using done for you resources, right? I need you to do that. The second thing is you need to assemble a team. If you're one of those people who's saying, look, I can't, it's costing me so much time and energy because I don't have a team. Here's what I'm going to say. If you're leading a church without a team, you need to go back to square one. You need to go back to the foundation. You need to go back to the basics. You need to go back to the basics. I'm telling you, you're going to do more harm to yourself trying to build a church alone than it would to just reset, say, look, I'm going back. We're going back to the drawing board. We're going to relaunch this thing. I got to put a team in place, because ministry is one of those things that's impossible without a team. Like, ministry was meant to be a team sport. Imagine an NBA team going on the floor with 1 or 2 people and they going against 8. And I'm not just talking about the 5 who on the court. They got some people sitting on the bench who ready to come in when they get tired so they can get a breather, right? You need to build a team. You need to build a team. And so if you don't have a team yet, that's your first priority. After you get your vision and your strategy and all those things, you need to go and get some people who can walk alongside you, because if you're doing it by yourself, it's not going to work. I'm telling you right now, it's not going to work. It's an exercise in futility. So you need to get a team. You need to get people around you. And here's another thing I would say, and I'm saying this in love because I love you, because I care about you. Now, what I'm about to say is hard, but I need you to hear me because I love you. If you cannot get a team of people to follow you, how are you going to win a city? If you can't get 5 people to come in and say, hey, look, I'm willing to be locked in and committed to the vision. Or not just the fact that you can't get it, but if you can't persevere to go and find those 5 people who can be a part of your original team or your core team, even if they're scaffolding, even if they're just there for a season to help you launch, if you can't go and get those people, how are you going to win a city for the Lord? You got to get those bodies. That's why when Paul went to these cities, he went to these groups first, and he gave them a blueprint to now go out and reach new people. And so you got to make sure that you build a team. Here's the third thing you need to do. You need to get a coach. You need to get a coach. If you're going to be a wise master builder, you need to get a coach. You need to get somebody who can help you. Man, the first few years of ministry when I was a church planter, I would literally, I quit my job because I thought, man, if I'm going to do this, I got to do it all the way. And the Lord used it, but it wasn't a whole lot of wisdom at the time because we struggled so much financially because I made that decision, right? But one of the things that I would do is I would go to the office and I would be sitting in my office for 8 hours a day. And to be completely honest with you, I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. I remember going on Google and saying, what does a pastor do throughout the day? I kid you not. I knew what other pastors did, but they had staffs and they had ministries and I was a church planter. I didn't have that. We were just having Sunday service and midweek service. And I'm sitting there like, what does a pastor do throughout the week? What should I be doing? I had no idea like what was supposed to be happening. So eventually, you know what I did? I got a coach. You know what that coach helped me understand? That I could put time into preaching great sermons, which I was already doing, but then I could put time into reaching out to people. I can put time into doing a lot of the foundational thinking work so that when God sent me people and volunteers, they didn't have to figure it out. I already had it figured out. And so they could go and execute. I put time into developing future ministries. I put time into developing leaders. One of our former leaders shared on Instagram just the other day. We used to do, like I'm doing this course with you, we used to do this for our church. On Saturday mornings, I would have them come sit in my office and they would do assignments. They had to write papers. I was in seminary, so I put them in seminary. I would have them writing 5-page papers as leaders about their role and about how they were serving the kingdom and what they were doing. And they would be doing it. And they became some amazing leaders as a result. But you know how I got there? A coach. If without a coach, you will waste a lot of time trying to figure out what you should be doing instead of actually doing it. And so you'll have a lot of wasted time and you'll sit down and say, I'm going to do stuff. And you'll find yourself popping from one plan to another. You'll introduce a plan. And then come in a couple of months, you're going to introduce another plan that's completely different. And what's going to end up happening is you're going to lose people because they're going to think you're all over the place. So what I'm saying to you is you need to get yourself a coach. All right. All right. Somebody tell me, building without burning out. Somebody give me your biggest takeaway. What's your best takeaway from strategy number 2? Let me know in the chat. What's your best takeaway from strategy number 2? Building without burning out. You don't have to kill yourself to build this thing. You need to learn how to leverage relationships and how to leverage money in order to keep your time and your energy. You can get more money. You can't get more time. Hear me. You can't get time back. Right? So what's your biggest takeaway? What's your biggest takeaway? All right. Pastor Jackie said, get a coach. Absolutely. Get a coach. Get a coach. Get a coach. I love it. I love it. I love it. Get a coach. Get a coach. All right, I'm sorry. I'm trying to look at in different places. I see a couple people say, "Dear coach," I see Lynn said, "My vision is too big." People, it went away. Somebody said, "Start with five and build." Absolutely. Start with five and build. It looks like, let me go back to Lynn's comment. I missed it. My vision is too big, too much money, too big for locals to consume. The people are burnt up mentally, itching ears, looking for performance with no commitment. I think that's true about some people, but I don't think that's true about everybody. I think if, number one, I don't know what your vision is. So your vision might be international, it might be something else. And if so, then you got to go where God has called you to go. But I will say this, if God called you to that local area, then it's incumbent upon you to really, for and all of us, to really discern how we lean into the area that God has called us to. I know this because we see it with the Apostle Paul. The Apostle Paul, his message generally is the same everywhere he went. But one of the things that was different for him was that he really pulled it around and shifted it to meet the unique culture of where he was going. And so you hear him talking about the same things, but his language is a little bit different in Corinth. It's a little bit different in Philippi. It's a little bit different to Thessalonica. It's a little bit different because so what he did, he was finding out what was happening and what was going on with the people. And as a result, he was finding his way in. That's why when he goes and he says, "Hey, look, y'all got this statue over here to this unknown God. Let me help you out," right? He finds a way in everywhere he goes. And that's the tough part of leadership, is that just because God has called us, that means people have to follow us. I need you to understand that. You can have a true call from God, but if you're not an equipped and if you're not an effective leader, people don't owe you to follow you. And people are not, I want to say this to somebody, people are not going to follow you just because you're a sound teacher. That's not enough. There are a bunch of sound, I can get sound teaching on YouTube. If you're trying to get people to follow you in person in a local church, you got to be a good leader. And that's why we want to build an equipping center. It's because seminary does a great job of teaching us how to preach, but it doesn't teach us how to deal with people. And you need to learn how to deal with people, right? If you don't know how to be gentle and loving and caring with people, it doesn't matter always how good you preach. No matter how good you preach, you got to learn how to lead well in order to help go where it needs to go. All right. Here's the final thing. All right. And this will go, Pastor Miriam just asked this question. I'm about to answer this question all in one. She asks, where can you get a coach? And I believe that's where we come in. All right. So here's the third and final strategy for our 3-day challenge is I want to challenge you to consider joining the Church Systems Bootcamp. All right, the Church Systems Bootcamp. The Church Systems Bootcamp is the vehicle through which we do all the things where you can find many of the things that we just talked about, many of the things that we just laid out for you. And I love your feedback. Some of you said your best takeaway was work as a team, clarity of vision, getting a team. I see a lot of team getting a coach. A lot of people say get a coach, right? Well, here's your opportunity. The Church Systems Bootcamp is our primary program in Simple Systems. It's our coaching and consulting program that includes everything. It includes all access to myself and all the resources that we create for people to take the next step. All right. And I'm going to break down what that includes and what's in there. But here's one of the things I want you to think about for a second. What if I told you that I was going to send a do-it-all pastor to join your team, right? That I was going to send a do-it-all pastor to join your team. What if I told you that, right? What if I told you that I was going to send somebody, right? You said, I need a team. And I told you, I'm going to send you somebody, and somebody I'm going to send to you. And what they're going to do is they're going to begin to help you get ready and prepare for what God has called you to do. All right. So that person coming on your team, they're going to help you get organized because they're going to be administrative. They're going to help you with technology because they understand technology. So they'll be able to help you with social media and all those kind of things. They'll be able to help you with your website. They're going to understand systems. So they're going to be able to do all those different things. All right. If I told you that I could send one of those people to you, how many of you would say, yes, send me that person? All right, just put it in the chat. If that's you, say me. So you can say yes. You can put lifted hands emoji, whatever. If that's you and you would say yes to a do-it-all pastor on your team or do-it-all volunteer on your team, how many of you would say yes to somebody who could just fill in whatever gaps that you have in ministry? How many would say yes to that? All right, April and Ron say yes. Felicia say yes. Jackie say yes. A lot of you would say yes, right? That's what you would say. Marion would say yes. I see a bunch of you just say yes. I would say yes to that. All right. Well, here's the beauty of Terry says yes. Okay, I see you. I see you. I see you. I see you. I said, can't see your name on Facebook. Look like Bedford says yes, says yes. Okay, Pastor Percy says yes. All right, I see you, right? Here's the beauty of the Church Systems Bootcamp. Is with the Church Systems Bootcamp, we help you. We help turn the people you have into that do-it-all person, right? So in the Church Systems Bootcamp, you and your team get access to our library of over 70 videos, training videos, done for you documents, done for you resources, all that. You and your entire team gets access to it. We even just started rolling out access to the sermon library. And in the sermon library, you get access to sermons that I've shared in the past. It includes notes, it includes graphics, it includes social media, reels, templates, it includes all these different things. We give you access to it, right? We give you all of these different things to help you out. And really the goal is for you and your team to be able to go in there and have access to everything you need to take the next step in your church and ministry. Everything you need, right? So that means you and your whole team gets the training that you need. One of the holdups that you have is that even once you get a team, how do you train them for the journey ahead? How do you train them for what's coming? How do you train them for what you're asking them to do? Well, this is a part of how we'll help you do that, is with the Church Systems Bootcamp. So what does that include? It includes a couple of different things. And there are a couple of reasons that so many of our members love our bootcamp, right? Number one is team training. Your team gets trained, right? It's not enough for you to be trained. They need to be trained. And in the boot camp, we train your team. Every single Thursday, we do a coaching call that's live. So imagine, we've been doing this in a 3-day challenge. Imagine if you could do this every week. Every single week in the Church Systems Bootcamp, we jump on a Zoom call where we can talk face to face, and we actually do training together in addition to the online training. Number two, pastors love it because of the church systems. You can go in and get training on every system in your church. Let's say you're a brand new church and you want to figure out what team should I be focused on for our Sunday worship gathering. Well, if you go into the bootcamp and you look into module number 1 on worship planning, there is a sub-module called the weekend teams. And it's about the 3 teams that you should be focused on if you're just getting started. Here are the 3 teams that you need to focus on building so that you can move things to the next level. And it includes some manuals to help you train those teams, to help you begin to roll those things out, right? So we give you church systems. The third reason pastors love the boot camp is because of the software. Is that we give you a software where you can build your website, you can text and email the people in your church. We even give you an allotment of about 500 text messages and about 5,000 emails every month that you can send on us, right? So you don't have to pay for a texting platform. You can send and receive text right from the software that we'll give you. You can do event registrations, and you can even host your own e-courses. If you want to make e-courses and trainings, you can build them and host them because we've got our own online coaching platform that you can use. All right. Another reason that pastors love our boot camp is because of the resources. Is that we're constantly creating new resources that you can go back and have access to and be able to walk through for you and your team. We're constantly creating new things. We're constantly putting stuff out there. As a matter of fact, one of the things that we're getting ready to roll out next month is that everybody in our Church Systems Boot Camp is getting a free church app. Is that we're going to give you an app so that you can upgrade your technology instantly as a part of the boot camp. All right. Another reason that pastors love our boot camp is a community. When you come to those coaching calls, when you come to our retreat every year, when you come to our regional gatherings where we pull together clusters of our churches who are in the same area, you get to build a community. You get to be a part of a community that understands where you are. We've got churches in our boot camp as small as 20 people, and we've got churches in our boot camp as large as 5,000 people, right? We've got both ends of the spectrum. But so much of what we do, if I'm honest with you, focuses on churches with 150 people or less. So we're usually even 100 or less people is where we really focus. And so we're a community who understands where you are, understands where you need to go, understands how to get there. Another reason that people love the boot camp is accountability, right? Y'all know I've said some hard stuff over the past 3 days, right? Well, imagine if that's a regular conversation that we have, where you're being challenged on some of the things that you need to do and you need to shift and you need to change. I may challenge you to rethink the way that you've always done things, but it's healthy accountability. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I'm going to bring some hard things to your attention and say, hey, this could be an issue. To give you an example, just a few weeks ago, we had a pastor from Florida join our boot camp, and I did a coaching call with his team. And on that first coaching call with his team, I said to him, I said, hey, this person on your team, I believe, is going to be a problem. I said, I can tell that their attitude is a challenge for the rest of your team. I said, I don't know the dynamics. I said, but I can tell you this. There's a division between that person and everybody else. So that's something you need to deal with. And all he could do is drop his head and just shake like, man, I ain't even tell you anything. You could already see it. I said, that's the elephant in the room. That's the elephant in the room. Absolutely. Felicia said, I joined up. That's right. They're a part of it. And I cannot wait to come out to the Atlanta area and spend some time with you all soon. Because I'm excited about what God is going to do there. All right. So it's accountability. But then here's the other part. It's cost effective. It's cost effective. And so we do it in such a way where it's affordable for you. It's not going to break the bank. Think about what it would cost to bring a do-it-all person on your staff. You know, I'll be honest with you. If somebody wanted to hire me to be on their staff, it would cost them at least 6 figures to bring me on staff because of what I would have to put down and what I know I would bring and what I know I would do. Because, you know, I went to seminary, so I got student loans to pay back. You know, I got debt, I got all these different things, but I got 2 master's degrees. I got over 20 years of experience. I've got all these different things. And so having somebody like me on staff would be a challenge for most churches. But, you know, my heart is still for the churches that are 100 or less. And so I said, how can we do this in a way that it reaches them? And so we put together this whole resource where everything that God gives me, it has given me, has given my wife, has given our team, we pour back out into you, and we do it in a way that's reachable. As a matter of fact, we're much, much, much cheaper. You can have us for what a musician costs you every week. You can have us for cheaper than that. We're less than $125 a week, and you can have everything to all we do. And it just really comes in at just $497 a month, right? And if you want to join for a year and you want to do a lump, I'll even give it to you cheaper than that, just to be a blessing to you and to your team. All you got to do is reach out to me. I'll call you. I'll reach out to you, and I'll make sure that you have what you need. All right. But this is the reason that pastors love our Church Systems Bootcamp, and it is a reason that I believe it could be the solution to your best year in 2024. So if you're curious and you want to be a part of it, here are a few bonuses that we're going to give you for free when you decide to join the Church Systems Bootcamp today. All right. Number one, we're going to give you a free church app. That's right. We're going to build it for you. We're going to make it look just like your website. If you already have a website you like, we won't make you change it. We will build the app around your website. Me and my team will do it for you. Now, if you know anything about apps, you know that just building an app is worth more than $2,000 in and of itself, right? Because it takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of effort, but we're going to give it to you for free because we want to be a blessing to you. Number two, we're going to do a free data transfer. So if you want to use Church Hub and you want to use our digital systems, you want to be able to automatically text and email people on their birthdays. You want to be able to have people register for an event and automatically get confirmations. You want to be able to send out text messages. You want to be able to schedule your social media. You want to be able to reply to church inboxes and DMs, all those kind of things. We're going to transfer your data for free. That means you give us all the people you already have, emails, names, phone numbers, whatever it is, and we'll move it all over to our new system completely free. We'll do it for you. And then the third thing that we're going to give you for free when you decide to join the Church Systems Bootcamp today is that we're going to set up your website for free. That's right. You heard me. We're going to give you a $2,500 value by setting up your website for free. So that means if you don't have a website at all, we're going to build one for you. And if you do have one that needs to be upgraded, we'll take the information from your old site, retask it, rebuild it, and use it to build you a new state-of-the-art website. We'll do all that for you when you decide to join today. Now, for all of you who are already part of the boot camp, you've already got access to all of this. I know it's going to be a blessing. I know it's going to help. Thank you so much, Pastor Felicia. She's a phenomenal teacher. I've gone through previous trainings, and Lord, send me 6 figures to listen, you in the boot camp, so you already got me, right? So you're good, all right? So for those of you who are curious, who are interested, I want you to answer this question for me real quick. Of all the features I just showed you, what's the best feature? What's the best feature from Strategy 3? Let's look at them. All these different things that you get. What's your favorite thing from this list? What's the thing that you need most from this list? I want you to drop it in the chat real quick, and then I'm going to show you how you can get it. and how you can get it right now. Just drop it in the chat real quick. What's your favorite feature from this list? Of all the things that we listed, of all the things I talked about, which of these things is your favorite? There's so many other things that we could have included in this list, but these are the ones that we just wanted to talk about today. What's your favorite thing from this list? Drop it in the chat, and I'm going to show you here exactly how to do it. And then I'm going to give you your final homework assignment. I'm going to give you your final homework assignment, and we're going to close out this 3-day challenge. All right. What's your favorite thing from this list? All right. So let me give you this real quick. For those of you who want to be a part of the boot camp, I want you to take out your phone and I want you to scan that QR code, right? If you're already watching from your phone, all you've got to do is go to getchurchsystems.com/our programs. And if that's not good enough, I'm going to drop the link in the chat right now. And all you've got to do is grab that link out of the chat, and you can click it and you can go forward. All right. I love people. So it's community. That's good. She said community, communication system. Absolutely. With our communication system, you can have one combined inbox. That means all emails, text messages, and social media DMs all go to the same inbox. So right there from your app, from the palm of your hand, you can sit there and reply and engage with all the people who are reaching out to you in your church. You can text everybody in your church from the palm of your hand. You can email everybody in your church from the palm of your hand. Very, very simple and easy feature. The accountability, I see it, all of those different things. All right. So listen, if you are ready to take the next steps, all right, and you want to take action, right? She said, Timmy, that's right. I didn't talk a lot about that, but when you're a part of the boot camp, one of the things that you have an option to do is that you can schedule. I'll give you access to a private calendar where you can bring me on Zoom once a month as spaces, until spaces fill up. You can bring me on Zoom once a month to come and do a training with your team. So you can say, hey, I want to do a series on evangelism. Can you come challenge us and teach our team how to go out and do evangelism? Hey, we're getting ready for Easter and we want to do this outreach project for Easter. Can you coach us through this outreach project? You have a private calendar. You go on there and you click, you schedule, and you can set that time aside to take the next step. All right. So listen, this is your chance to have everything you need for 2024, but you have got to decide to take action. So right now, go ahead, click the link in the chat, scan that QR code, go to that page, and you will see the Church Systems Bootcamp. Now, for those of you who say, man, I want to do it, but $497 is just a little bit more than what I can do. All right. Now, I'll tell you this, bootcamp is everything we have, but we have 2 smaller programs that you can explore. If you click that link and you click register now or sign up, whatever it is, you'll see everything right there and everything that we offer to take the next step. So listen, this is the time. That's right. Pastor Jackie said, I do not want to burn out before I complete my mission. You don't. And you don't have to. You don't have to. I believe that we are here. Our team is here to help you. One of the things that I'm so excited about is we just interviewed this week a full service tech team, which means that we're going to have a full-time staff standing by, ready to help you with all your technical needs. Meaning that if you got a question about how to do something in our system, all you got to do is click a button. All you got to do is submit a support ticket, pick up the phone and call, jump on a Zoom call, and we're going to have a team right there ready to help you, ready to walk with you, and ready to care for you. But it's all about you taking the step. This is your chance to take action. And I'm giving you this chance now because I know that when our programs fill up, we have to go to a waiting list and we have to push it back because we want to be personal. We want to make sure that we can serve well with the people that God has called us to serve. And so I want to encourage you to jump into our program before time runs out. All right. So listen, if you are ready and you're serious and you're ready to take this next step, you want to be a part, I just want you to drop me in the chat. You say, hey, look, I want to be a part of the boot camp. Drop me in the chat, right? And not only will I make sure that we help you take next steps, but me and somebody from my team is going to reach out to you. We're going to call you and we're going to help you take those next steps. We're going to help you do it. We're going to help you get signed up. We're going to help you do all those different things. Just drop me in the chat if that's you. If you're ready to sign up, you're ready to take the next step, drop me in the chat and we're going to be looking forward to making sure that you get plugged in. All right. So real quick, here's your homework assignment assignment for number 3, for day number 3, our final day together. I want you to get this because I believe it's going to be a blessing. Thank you. Pastor Keller said you won't regret joining. Yes, Pastor Keller, they joined up with us just a few months ago. And so we're super, super excited about 24 with them. All right. Here are 3 questions I want you to ask for your homework assignment. Number 1, what tribe will you join in 2024? Listen, we have talked about it. It is imperative that you join a tribe in 2024. You can no longer just sit idly by. You got to take a next step. What tribe will you join? Number 2, what team do you need to build in 2024? You need to figure out the team that you're going to focus on. Do you need to focus on your leadership team because you're just starting out? Do you need to focus on your children's ministry team, your worship team? What team will you build in 2024 so that you don't have to keep leveraging your energy and your time? Your energy and your time. Listen, if you can find somebody, John Maxwell says, who can do a task 60% as good as you, give it to them and coach them the rest of the way. They may not do it exactly like you, but they can grow in it. You can't grow how much time you have, but you can grow their ability and their capacity. So you want to do that. And then last but not least, here's a third and final question I want you to ask. What's stopping you from joining the boot camp? What's stopping you? You know it's got what you need. You know it can help you. You know it can meet you where you are. So what's holding you up and what's stopping you from taking the next step? All right, listen, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to those of you who are coming into the boot camp, who are ready to be a part of what God is doing. So when you join now, we've got those bonuses standing by for you, but you have got to take action, all right? Listen, I hope that these 3 days we've spent together have been worth your time. I hope they've been worth the hour or so that you've invested each day. I want you to do me one favor. As we get ready to close out, I want you to drop in the chat. If this was a blessing to you, I want you to just put something in the comments. Let me know. Just give me something that I can share with other leaders that says, man, this was so good. Man, I got so much value from this. Man, I have paid, this much for trainings before and didn't get this much out of it. I got more out of this than I got at a conference. Whatever it is, you put it in your own words. Drop it in the chat for me. I'm going to keep the stream open for a few moments while you drop your chat, and you're going to help me begin to share this with other people as they can continue to take steps forward. All right, listen, thank you so much for spending this time with me. Listen, I want you to know I appreciate you because you didn't have to be here, but you decided to be here. You decided to come. You decided to be a part of this. And I pray that God blesses you and redeems your time for it. All right. So look, God bless. Until next time, keep big